Capricorn. Let's go. You could have Capricorn anywhere in your chart, your sun, your moon, your rising, or you could be dealing with a Capricorn, have questions, and are curious as to what their intentions, what's their thoughts, what's their next moves, what their overall perspective, or what is going on in their life, in your life, in my life. Let's take a look and see. Alright, so this reading is going to be for Capricorn, Cardinal Earth. I'd like to tap into the energy body and the 7 chakras. Can I get an overview of the strongest chakra in the Capricorn body? Okay, we have your heart chakra. Your perception is good. It's different. It's going to be a different perspective. Pay attention to the way you're perceiving things, okay? I do see a time of transformation, like you already been through a transformation and you're now flying, you're now in the air, you're now soaring. This girl's wearing a lot of purple, which can signify royalty, spiritual royalty. White as well for purity. Let's go. Capricorn. Okay. Your weakest chakra, I didn't ask it out loud because I was just thinking it in my mind. We have perseverance here. And it's very interesting because I tried to do your reading a couple of times before this and I was using different cards, and the 2 colors of cards that were coming out was a lot of green and a lot of orange. So while you do have the capacity to have a very strong green heart chakra, or just like have a very strong heart chakra, if there's any blockages below the heart chakra, it won't really be receiving the proper amount of energy, or it won't be, because I feel like it kind of works as a circle, right? And it's the energy is coming down, but it's also going out the bottoms of your feet through all of your chakras, and that's how we live our daily lives. That's how we have our consciousness within us. So there's something coming out here about your energy levels, and I almost want to say your solar plexus a little bit too. You could have been so focused on the material world, so focused on surviving, so focused on what is that? Raven! What are you doing? Are you knocking on the floor? What's the matter? You don't need to do that. Nope. You wanna go up? You can go up? No, I'm going in my bed. Oh my gosh. I want to get out of Sagittarius energy so bad. I don't like it there. I don't like Sagittarius energy. Okay? I have my Pluto in Sagittarius. We have perfection. Wisdom. Let's go. I'd like to tap into the energy body of the Capricorn collective, please. I'd like to know where Capricorn is in their energetic path. I'd like to just keep it simple, and can you tell me any chakras that I need to pay attention to? You have gratitude with the Anja. You have release. Okay. Give me one more, please. Discovery. Miracle. This is going to be a heavy message, I feel, Capricorn. The energy is heavy. The energy is heavy. It's heavy. There's something that you want really bad. I feel like you've possibly even worked really hard for it. But it's something that you're not able to have. You want this thing really, really bad. I feel like you've been putting your neck out on the line to get this thing that you want. But the thing that you want doesn't want you because it's occupied with something else or someone else. And I feel like this was a difficult pill for you to swallow. You are learning to let things go from the past, and you're learning to not hold grudges, to not feel sorrow about this rejection or this transformation that happened for you or someone that you know. I would say that a few days ago, you might have had some sort of breaking point where you realized that there's something more. And it was almost kind of like a supernatural feeling. There's something about like a wise man, or like being met by an energy that's very wise. He has this owl on his head. And I feel like, now looking at the back of this card, I feel like there was something that you felt like you had to explore more about yourself. There was some sort of discovery that you had to go on, but you had to do it in a place where the grayness wasn't at for you. And I'm not saying that you're not grateful and you're not happy with the things that you have, because I do feel like you are. Even if you don't have a lot, you're still grateful for it. But there's something that happened that hit you in your root, which is kind of your where you live, right? Your cardinal earth. You rule the earth, you rule the ground. You're the team captain for the ground. And that's not an easy job. It's not an easy job at all. At all. And that's not to mean that you're the ruler or you're like the blessed one of the ground. That would be the fixed energy. You're the cardinal, so it's like you have to do a lot of the dirty work. And you didn't want to go dark. You didn't want to go sad. You didn't want to go. So you changed the route and you went a different way, and you held it in, but not held it in until you exploded. I feel like you're doing something to discover what that feeling that you know you need to release is within you. Okay, let's keep going. There we go. Okay, Capricorn, let's go first house. I want to know what the lens is for Capricorn. What's going on? How is Capricorn currently viewing situation? Gratitude. Whatever thing that you wanted that you couldn't have, I don't know if you were like helping someone a lot or if you were doing something for someone a lot, in like in the back of your mind you felt like you were going to get something out of it, or if you were going to get this person out of it. But I don't think it did. I just feel like the people that you were helping just ended up being very grateful. And that's what happens when you aren't up front with your intentions, your long-term intentions. First house, your perspective is Aries. I am. Okay, that's a very powerful statement right there. I am is very powerful. That is, whenever you say I am, that is you recognizing the God within you. When you say I am, and underneath it we have gratitude. So I am grateful. I am gratitude. Gratitude's a very high vibration. Sometimes 12:12 on the clock, yeah, that could be your birthday. So that would make you a Sagittarius, but 12:25. Your second house, your core values. We have receptivity. Your third house, the way you communicate. This second house can also be personal finance. So the first house is going to be right above the horizon, right before the sun sets. The second house is going to be this spot on the ground, right? That's where the harvest grows out of. So that's why it rules personal finance, because when you plant a seed, it grows and it comes out the second house. So your third house is going to be a level deeper under the ground. So we have share precious resources. Make peace within and with others. Okay. Fourth house, this is going to be the lowest part of the ground that we're going to go. As deep into the earth as we're going to go. This is going to talk about your roots. This is why it goes back into the past. It's going to talk about your lineage. It can talk about real estate. It can talk about the place you go to learn. So your home, right? The place in which you grew up and you were taught things. So it can also be like the building of your school, or like what the actual structure of your school. You have tell the truth. All right. We're going to go into all of these. I just want to pull them all out. Let's go to the fifth house. So your fifth house is going to talk more about dating. It can talk about children. It can talk about sex, romantic relationships. Not so much the actual act of sex, but the joy that you get from being in love, I guess, maybe with someone. This is going to be the way in which you give love out. The house before, tell the truth, is the way you receive love. And that's going to be important because the second house, we have receptivity. So your fifth house, this can also talk about the more paternal side of your ancestral lineage. This is going to be a one step up higher, equivalent to where the third house is in the ground. So this is going to be one step higher, kind of equivalent, but on the other side of the globe, or of your chart, or of the sky, or however you want to look at it. So this is below the ground still. Similar to the same line as the third house. So let's go. Fifth house, this can be also the father's family. And this is the knowledge you learn inside of the school. Okay, we have a couple cards that came out. We have home, integrity, conviction, guidance. We have rise above and free yourself. I'm going to put them back because I don't feel like any of those matched. It wasn't the right one. Okay, for Capricorn, can we please get the fifth house? We have useful opposition. Okay. I have my moon in the fifth house, and I have Neptune in Capricorn. Making an opposition. So this is the closing of my grand square, my grand cross. Sorry if it seems kind of like intense. It might even be a really long video, I'm not sure. But this is for me as well. Alright, your sixth house, in terms of your daily routine, we have a root chakra blockage. Okay, I gotta stop, I gotta address that. So, I want you to think of your chakras. We have this discovery. There's something that your root chakra is trying to tell you. So your root chakra is gonna deal with your raw, primal nature, your fight, flight, your basic means of survival, how you survive. How you get by, what do you eat, where do you live? Are you hungry? Do you have food to eat? If you don't have food to eat, do you have the money to go buy yourself something to eat? And is your daily routine not providing you the security and the stability to go and get something to eat? Have you lived above your means to the point that you are struggling to get by? Might be something that needs to be taken a look at in terms of what you do for fun, the stage of life. We have useful opposition. So this is something that's useful. So it's something is opposing another thing to teach you something. And it has something to do with your basic resources and how you provide for yourself on a daily basis. Okay? Root chakra clearing. Okay, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. I'd like to move on to the seventh house, please. I'd like to move on to the seventh house, please, for Capricorn. This house rules open enemies. This house rules business partners. This house rules marriages, contracts, significant people in your life. It can be on a romantic basis, but it doesn't have to be. The part of you that is farthest from yourself, right? So it's really going into the other person. A lot of times we get attracted to like things and people that we lack. So when we lack something, we tend to find comfort when the people around us have it. Now sometimes that can be a stem for jealousy or envy, but it doesn't have to be. Let's go. We have Taurus. I have. I'm right. I pay. We have the rune of Pan. Stop thinking. You are not there. Is no you. Laugh, play. Very interesting that that came out, because Pan is a very earthly, more like, I believe it's a Greek god, but he rules like a lot of very interesting. I've got Saturn in Taurus. Your 8th house, we also have here unexpected change and go with the flow. That can rule intimacy. That can rule other people's finances, investments, occult knowledge, anything that's hidden from you, or anything that has been tried to be hidden from the world. It's kind of where you go into that state of transformation, right? That's when you're rising up out of the ground now, so you're transforming, right? You're being royally lifted up now after you get out of the 7th house. Is like the 8th house is directly across from the 2nd house, so the same way I was talking about with the 5th house in the 3rd house. So this is now 2 different sides of the earth. So the sun was setting on the eastern horizon at the time you were born. So this is on the other side. So this would mean that if the sun is setting over here, it would be nighttime over here. So this is more so the nighttime, so the darker part of your chart. It says go with the flow. Your 9th house. Your 9th house. 9th house is an interesting house. This house can talk a lot about philosophy, your spiritual beliefs, gurus, like religious uprisings or cultural uprisings, strong beliefs about the culture, or so I feel like I was watching a video, and I believe that they compared the 9th house to Hitler, and how Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is the natural ruler of the 9th house. Jupiter has no boundaries, so Jupiter will really let you go as far as you want to go with something, and Jupiter won't stop you. And he will allow mayhem and chaos to fall over the world, and kind of expect you to live with your choices. There's no boundaries, right? And that's not like your nature. That's very different from your nature. You like boundaries. You like structure. So the 9th house can be a little bit difficult for you. If you're a Capricorn rising, this 9th house energies are kind of correlated to behind the scenes for you. So maybe the reason as to why you desire structure so much, why you want things to be kind of routine and orderly, is because behind the scenes is really so chaotic and so opinionated and so deep. We have find gold in the dark. and know yourself. All right, let's go to the 10th house. So your 10th house, this is the peak of the mountain. Okay, so as soon as we get up to that 7th house, we're now going up, right? So this is why they talk about Capricorn being up the mountain, right? Capricorn is ruthless. They can be. They can be ruthless. Now, there's this myth, this native myth about the people, the indigenous cultures of Yellowstone, I believe is where they were. And they lived at the top of the mountains, and they were called the sheep eaters. And I believe it was the Sioux. The Sioux tribes that lived at the bottom of the mountains, they came to attack the sheep eaters, or the sheep eaters, the people that lived at the top of the Rocky Mountains. And the chieftain, I believe his name was Red Eagle. He had this apparatus, and they came charging up the mountain. They didn't want to fight, and they didn't even have weapons to fight at that time. I believe this was one of the last indigenous, actual people still in America. And they came charging up the mountain, and they didn't want to fight, but they knew they had to do something. So they had this lever, and the chief told the rest of his tribe to go ahead, and he took the rock, and he used the lever and took a piece of the mountain and broke it off and crushed all the Sioux coming towards them. So there is a part of Capricorn that can be very brutal. There is a part of Capricorn that will do whatever they need to survive. They will cut you out, cut you off, and they will. They can be cold like that. That's Saturn. Saturn is cold. Saturn is cold. Saturn is time. Saturn is slow as well. Saturn is methodical, and it's strategic, and discipline, structure, right action. But there's also a very fun and loving side to them, but there's almost like a need to have everything in order before they can really find that place where they can truly relax and get into that place where they can not have to worry about their life crumbling or being attacked by people that wish that they could be at this point in incarnation. When you get to this part of the astrological wheel, I just want to show you something. So we've got, this is the top part here, and it's the air, it's the color white. Some people say it's the fire, but it's at the top of the wheel, so it kind of gives you that bird's eye view where you're able to kind of, you've already gone through so many different levels of life that you're wiser. When you get out of that ninth house is so hard. Sagittarius is such a hard sign. People think Sagittarius is lucky and all this, but they're really not. Sagittarius is probably one of the most difficult signs and houses to deal with in all of astrology, I would say. And that's kind of what they don't tell you. So you have to think that you've already been through that, right? Scorpio is really hard as well. That's complete and total death. That's rising. That's the resurrection, right? That's coming up from the dead. And you got to think you're already a few stages of like almost up. You got to think like how difficult that is. Like when you're wounded and you're hurt and you're a warrior, or you know, whatever you want to say you are. I'd say Aries, I am, that's how your lens is. So you see yourself as someone strong. You see yourself as someone that is able to fight to become their true self. You've made it this far into the journey. You need to know yourself so that you can continue forward, because you won't be able to move into these last two houses, because the last two houses, it's really no joke, right? These 12 houses encompass everything that could happen under the sun. These 12 houses, we give them these general meanings, but really they go so deep. They go so deep. The depths of all of life. Think about the atrocities that are committed daily that you have to see, because you're a Capricorn. So you've ascended that far, you've been taken on by Father Time, and once you really begin to work with Saturn, it's almost like you can learn to control like the time-space continuum kind of thing. You can learn to bend time at your will. You never really see Capricorns, like, they'll move fast sometimes, but I feel like Capricorns know the art of patience and the art of, there's this sense they get that something good is going to come, but they get that from the beginning. They know when something is going to actually help them evolve. Okay? And that's the thing about Capricorn. They can be selfish, but that's only because not very many people make it to this stage. I mean, everybody might have some in their chart, but I mean, you got to think that there's 12 signs, so that's what, 3 out of 12, so that would be what, a quarter of a chance. So only 1/4 of the people of the world would be able to resonate with this message, only a quarter. Are you a part of that quarter? So that's a lot, that's still a lot of people. You got Aries, I am again. That came out for your 10th house. Hone your skills, the waters of life, the rewards of feeling fully. I have goosebumps on my body. Okay, let's go. 10th house, reputation, career, your highest self. This is where your higher self is at, is in the 10th house, your MC. It's your higher self in the 10th house. I have a Sagittarius 10th house, so. It says angel number 1. You also have 508. Withdraw from conflict and struggle. Okay, so it's kind of giving me a block here. There's still so much to deal with below the 10th house. I'm going to still pull the rest of the cards just because currently right now, what is the 11th house? So the 11th house, this is the natural house of Aquarius. But if you're a Capricorn rising, I believe your 11th house would be Scorpio. So in your 11th house, when you go through these transformations, your 11th house, this is going to talk about the collective, but this is also where your gift is. This is where the most amount of wealth in the chart is possible. This is like your promise. If you go through the trials and the tribulations of your birth chart, you live out your divine plan, you live out your divine soap opera, if you want to call it that, your divine TV show, your own divine play, right? The divine comedy, if you want to call it that. Whatever. Then you get blessed with your 11th house. I personally have my part of fortune in the 11th house in Capricorn. The part of fortune is what you get for bearing your cross. Your cross is your 4 points of your astrological chart. That's why the ascendant is so important in astrology, because that's your cross that you have to bear throughout your life. And it's going to talk about those 4 sections of the medicine wheel. Something to keep in mind. What's Capricorn's 11th house, please? I weigh, I balance, I finesse, I judge. Libra. Okay. We have crown chakra block. We have second house, money, talents, and values. Organic change. Ugh. And seek truth. Beware the mob. Crown chakra opening. Okay. So, Capricorn. How long has this been? This has been almost a 40-minute video. I'm going to still pull your tarot because you deserve that. All right. Let's go first house. Aries, I am King of Cups. Spiritual. It's kind of giving me the vibe that you're working through your transformation. This is a Scorpio and Libra card. You're getting close. You're seeing through the lens of that largest amount of money or that largest amount of inheritance that you could ever possibly receive. And it's not through any human means, but it's that sense of bliss, that sense of oneness, that sense of having mastery. But you have that sense of mastery with the 11th house, with Aquarius energy, and you still have a drive to do something with it. Once you reach Pisces, you realize there's no reason to do anything at all. And you become Zen. You want for nothing. Second house. Your second house. We just had said second house. We're going to go back to the second house. We have receptivity. And we have the devil, which is your card. Capricorn. Maybe it's your card. I don't know. Hold your hand out, right? Ready to receive. It's yours to claim. You have to learn to receive. That's what you're learning, Capricorn, is how to receive. Your third house, share precious resources. Communicating about resources, learning to communicate about finances, learning how to communicate about sharing or how to communicate about receiving shared finances. Something about that. Tell the truth is your next one. The Hierophant, Taurus energy, the teacher. The Hierophant and the Devil are kind of the same card in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Just a different perspective. I think you're learning that the things in life that used to scare you feeling like maybe people were just using you for your money, or feeling like people were just trying to take advantage of you, like they were scammers. I think you're beginning to realize that it's really not that at all. 40 minutes exactly on the clock. You're learning it's not that at all. That there really is a divine mission and a divine plan, and there really is something that we're working for. And I think that's why your channeled song was Price Tag by Jessie J. It's not about the money. Forget about the price tag. I don't want your money. Fourth house, I don't want your money. You can give me your money, but I don't really want it. I don't need it. X or Twitter just wrote, "No, we in the end of times." Silly. One more card for Capricorn. The Ace of Pentacles. The tighter you squeeze, the more that slips through your fingers. Just release. Hold your hand out. If anything lands in it, want in one hand, shit in another, right? See which one fills up faster. You don't want for nothing. There's nothing you want for. There's nothing you need. You always have more than enough. That's the thing. You always have more than enough. That's why you don't get greedy. That's why you know that money comes and money goes. And I feel like once that happens, that thing that you desire that I was talking about at the beginning, whether it's them or whether it's someone else, the place gets filled. Maybe it gets filled with money. Maybe the money isn't going to come in the way you thought it would. Maybe you won't be able to be completely independent. Maybe you will have to answer to someone else. It's life. There's always somebody higher than us. There's always a hierarchy. Trust me. You don't want to be the one that nobody has. You don't have anybody to ask. You don't have anybody to seek guidance with. Nobody wants that. If you want that, you're crazy. You'd be a fool. Right? It's like a movie with Morgan Freeman and Steve Carell, I think, when he becomes God. He has to become God. That's not fun. It's the worst feeling ever. So we wait. We surrender to life and the flow of the planet. We accept ourselves. Sometimes people aren't cute, right? The Queen of Wands upright is somebody that's very cute. She's very attractive. She's very beautiful. Maybe you're not the most beautiful person in the world. Maybe you're not a model. It's okay. It doesn't still mean you're not a good person. It doesn't still mean that you're not worthy of the life you want. You don't have to be a model. You can just be yourself. That's perfectly fine. The Hermit. Getting to that enlightened stage. The Knight of Swords. I think those go the other way around, but by Capricorn.